Hello and welcome to the weekly vmcampos Comic Book Club. I'm your host, vmcampos. This is the podcast where I answer, what am I reading this week? Spoiler alert, I will be going through the book, but I will not be revealing the important plot points. And also, remember, buy the original book. Support your favorite creators. This week I've got Avengers, Rocket Raccoon, #1, from Marvel. This is the True Believers #1 issue. The funny thing about this book is that it's a reprint of the classic Rocket Raccoon #1 published in the 80s. The creative team is Bill Mantlo story, Mike Mignola pencils, Al Gordon inks, and Christy Shiel colors. Rocket Raccoon created by Bill Mantlo and Keith Giffen. So, the cover of the book features Rocket Raccoon blasting a bunch of robotic toys and things, while a monkey warrior sort of comes at him, and there's some other rabbits blasting him. So, Mike Mignola, creator of Hellboy, worked at Marvel, and he did the art for this book. He did the cover as well. This is the old version of Rocket that was very cute and fluffy. I think this cover is very frenetic and chaotic. It's fun and interesting. I would rate this, however, a 2 out of 5. The original, I would rate it a 4 out of 5. But this reprint version, I rate it lower because the True Believer banner gets in the way and is annoying. The Rocket Raccoon logo is moved too far down. It was originally up above. And instead of what was above is now Avengers, the Avengers logo, but Rocket's not part of the Avengers, so why does it say Avengers? Plus, the art's been changed a little bit because the signatures of the creators have almost been cropped out. Plus, then we have the rated T for teen barcode on the corner, and it just alters too much the original cover. The original, 4 out of 5, this reprint, 2 out of 5. The plot of the book... Unfortunately, I have to also give this pretty low ratings. 2 out of 5 or worse. It's incredibly silly. It's incredibly juvenile and weird. I just didn't enjoy this plot. It was... there's this cult of humans that are insane, and then the animals have to keep them entertained, but there's some renegade animals that no longer want to do that. And then there's toy makers, and one of the bad guys is fighting with another toy maker, and all of this is happening on some other quadrant of space where they're all kind of trapped in there together. There's a mention of Hulk 271, first appearance of Rocket Raccoon in Hulk. And it's just a really weird, dumb, juvenile story and not enjoyable. So I'm gonna say a 1 out of 5 actually. I just did not like the plot of this book at all. The art, I'll rate that much higher. Definitely a 4 out of 5. This is a classic funny animal 80s style art. It's interesting to think that this is the same guy that would work on Hellboy, but there's a lot of cute animals and posing and space scenes and expressions. Rocket's expressions on some places are really fun. It's an enjoyable art effort. Panel layout works pretty well with a variety of types of panels. It's never boring, something always interesting to look at, close-ups of characters, full body shots. There's a part where the cultists are dancing and Rocket is walking away from them and he's out of the panel. I kind of appreciate that artistically. So definitely interior art is a lot better. It's a 4 out of 5. And lastly, the enjoyability of the book. What do I rate that? Well, like I said, I don't like the plot at all. That's down. That brings things down. But the art, there's a lot of great that I like about the art, and the cover's cool too. And there's a few spots actually that's more violent than you think. There's a toy maker that gets violently shot up by one of these killer clowns from outer space. That's kind of fun there. The enjoyability of it all, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I thought the book was enjoyable in that aspect, notwithstanding the actual plot of the book, which I could really do without. But overall, I did enjoy the book. That may be a bit of a contradiction with the other ratings, but that's what I think there. Now, do I recommend the book in general? For $1, sure. What's the famous saying? I'd buy that for $1. So if you got $1, you see this on the shelf, okay, pick up Avengers Rocket Raccoon #1 just to see how old school Rocket Raccoon was before the Scotty Young era. Plot-wise, I didn't like it. You might. Art-wise, I think you'll like it. And overall, it's kind of an interesting snapshot of Marvel Comics at the time. Let's go into more detail in the book, as this is the video version. There's a modern ad for the War of the Realms by Aaron and Dodderman. Really interesting to me that they were working on the recent Jane Foster Hulk, and then now they're tasked with the War of the Realms event, along with other tie-ins and such. So you see that ad, which then contrasts with the art of the book. Speaking of which, this is nice, modern, slick, glossy paper, and not like the original newsprint cheap paper that the original was published in. So the colors really pop, as you can see in these close-ups right here. It's nice, shiny, and great colorization. Nothing too complex. They had to colorize the original line work, and the original had a little bit more reliance on like hatching and cross hatching and that sort of thing, stippling and such, but the colorization looks nice. Okay, here's another ad for the recent stuff. You like the movies, read the graphic novels. So I appreciate that they are reminding you to go off to the source material. This rabbit looks cool over here, and then the expressions on these characters, and this is funny over here. Laugh this one off if you can, clown. Oh me, oh my, it's time to die. And he gets totally zapped. So that's again the kind of like weird juvenility of it, but sometimes it works. And then I love this. This is Rocket smoking his pipe. Why does he remind me of Frodo, or Bilbo Baggins out of The Hobbit? Then his girlfriend, I guess she gets naked and jumps into the river, if you think about it, because everyone's wearing clothing, and she takes off her cloak, so in a very sexy way. So I guess, yep, there's a full frontal nudity in a Marvel comic. And then the character Walrus, again, the juvenility of it, he has these cybernetic tusks. Then we've got the Keystone Cops, and I'm like, this is some of the stuff that I just don't like. And then the loonies, or what are these guys again? The Good Humor Men. So I kind of like that expression right there of the dead clown, robotic clown. There's more stuff about Spider-Man. There's Thanos chilling out in his little farm and such. Exclusive behind-the-scenes art, interviews, and photos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And again, I'm not going to reveal the whole plot. You can read it yourself. I kind of like this panel a lot right here. But okay, Mayhem Mechanics, Judson Jake's proprietor. These jokes, they just don't work. Were they better back in the day? Because now, 30 years later, they fall really flat. I'm going to jump to the end and not to reveal the plot. Another ad in the back here, Avengers No Road Home with Hercules. I liked the Hercules series from several years ago after the Secret Wars reboot of stuff, but then it didn't last too long, did it? And here's the original cover right there. See what I'm saying about that? This was getting cut off. If we look at the reprint, there's Mike Mignola's signature and the other name, and it's just cut off right there. So the original also had the Rocket Raccoon at the top, and then the classic #1 in a 4-issue limited series. They also took out the little, what's that little icon up there called? Look at that. They took him out there. I love that pose. 75 cents in the original May, and then either the barcode for newsstand edition or the Spider-Man head for direct edition comic shops. Begin your own Captain Marvel adventure. So we've got the amazing Art Germ cover and the very cool Connor cover. Now, can we go a little bit further over here without revealing the plot? Yes, that's too far, so we'll end it right there. So this was... Actually, what's the official name of it right here? True Believers, Avengers, Rocket Raccoon, #1. Okay, so that's what we read this week. in the video version of the podcast. If you want the audio-only version, you can search for vmcampos at your favorite podcast app, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, etc., and hear the shorter, more compact audio-only version. Thank you for watching the video version of the podcast. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next week.